7 looksmaxing methods that actually work.
If you've spent any amount
Let's
of
see if
time in
these
the
are dope or
Looksmaxing
not.
space, you've probably seen tons of different methods and exercises that all seem more ridiculous than the other. It doesn't seem like any of these methods actually do anything, and being honest with you, most of them don't do shit. So what I want to walk through in this video are methods and habits that actually have been shown to work and things that actually have an effect on the way you look. We'll discuss exactly which part of your face each habit or exercise will improve, so you can decide more accurately what you want to implement and not implement. None of these are put in any specific order, I'm just going to throw
Better
ideas
audio
at
W.
you. Also keep in mind that not all of these are necessary. I think there's only one or two that everyone should implement, but the rest is going to be optional. At the end of the day, Looksmaxing is just health, and any method you implement should either make you healthier or allow you to get back to a healthier state faster. So that being said, I'm going to walk through everything you should actually focus your attention on or things you can implement that will be effective. So the first method I want to discuss is not going to be necessary for everyone, but it is neck curls. It's not really a special technique or anything, but a big problem that I see
Bro,
with
low-key, I think neck curls are the move, but I don't do them and I should do them. But yeah, like having neck muscles, like this guy is pretty chatted with his neck muscles. Dude, I need to get like him.
a lot of guys in the free community that I run is that their neck is simply too skinny compared to the size of their head. Because it's too small, their entire facial harmony and facial masculinity is thrown off, which makes them less attractive. So the main exercise you can do to remedy this is going to be simple neck curls.
Dylan told me to do that and I'm gonna take him up on the strat W.
So here's exactly how you're going to do them. First, we need to discuss how to warm up properly, which you'll do by finding something to lay on where your head can stick out and move freely. This can be a bench or a bed, for example. Then secondly, what you'll do is simply bring your neck down and try to create a stretch in your neck fibers. Don't go too far down, of course, but make sure you feel a slight stretch in your neck. Then what you'll do is go up and focus on really squeezing your neck fibers and just doing this until your neck feels warm. The goal here is to simply warm your neck area up and not actually strain your neck yet. Now, once you're warmed up properly, you'll need to actually train your neck, and this is going to be the exact same movement but with more intensity. So use the same surface you've used for warming up, and this time, instead of going until your neck feels warm, you'll keep going until you get close to failure. If you're capable, you can add weights or your hands as resistance, but that's up to you to decide whether you're at that level or not. In any case, you should be
Oh shoot, what did I do? Okay. So I used to be in boxing and we would do these things where we like attach a weight to our head and we'd go like this. And I think that would like strengthen the neck muscles, prevent you from getting knocked out. Bro, that's gonna get clipped, me doing that movement. Holy. Yo, what's up, Lens?
careful with this because your neck is a sensitive area. So this is something you'll do 2 times a week, and each time you'll do 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Then with that, you'll choose a weight that allows you to get this amount of reps, whether it's no weights at all, your hands, or a certain amount of weight. So that is exactly how you do neck curls. Make sure you warm up properly, then train it with proper technique and keep the right amount of frequency and volume of training. Remember to be careful with this because your neck is still a sensitive area. Hey everyone, just a quick second. I want to talk to you about Ascension Launchpad, which is a free, less than a max instruction. Is recorrecting the natural tongue posture, or what you might know as a mewing. I've spoken about it many times already, but it's because it matters so much. Your tongue is responsible for the proper development of your skull. It's what causes your maxilla to grow forward and upwards, your mandible to grow longer, your cheekbones to become more prominent, your eyes to get that more permanent skeletal support, your hyoid bone to elevate upwards, your airways to open up and literally
Holy mewing, guys. Honestly, bro, like people can hate on it all they want, but mewing ascended me, bro. Like all it is good tongue posture, and I think good tongue posture and nose breathing is just necessary to look good in general. Like if you don't, you're cooked. W Omo King gave me the Greek god maxing strat today. Love you, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Yes, sir.
add years to your life and many more things. Everyone seems to treat mewing like some meme, but it's probably one of the most important habits you should implement if you want to look better. So yes, I've spoken about it many times already, and I will keep speaking about it until the day I die because it matters so much. So here's exactly how we're going to do it, which is going to be the exact same technique as always. So first, what you'll do is place your tongue behind your upper front teeth. Wherever you have a split between your front teeth, that is where your tongue should be placed against. Then once your tongue is against the back of your front teeth, what you'll do is make a big exaggerated smile while having your eyes wide open and your tongue still against the back of your teeth. What you'll notice when you do this is that your tongue will press very hard against the roof of your mouth.
Holy.
Which is the proper position for your tongue to be in. Then once you've done that, you'll obviously bring your facial expressions back to normal while keeping your tongue in that position. Now, to then solidify your tongue in that position, you'll try to swallow any saliva that you have in between your tongue and the palate of your mouth. Swallow as many times as you need, and this will ensure that your tongue is almost suctioned against the roof of your mouth. Then once your tongue is in that position, you'll try to keep it there as much as possible throughout the day. Then also make sure that the pressure is on your palate and not on your upper front teeth. Although we placed our tongue there at first, it's not where your tongue should stay once you're in the right position. So that is the right technique you should adopt. At first, you might have a difficult time getting in that position, but after a while of practicing, it will be easier.
Dude, I didn't think like mewing was this complex. Holy.
And easier. Now, if you want to have a more detailed guide about mewing and how to fix some of the issues you'll face along the way, I've made a YouTube video about it, which you can check out if you want. Now, a third method you can implement is an exercise called supine chin raises. This is also something I've spoken about a couple times, but that is again because it's effective and it works. What supine chin raises are meant for is training the muscles underneath your jaw called your suprahyoid muscles. These are a set of muscles made of your digastric, mylohyoid, stylohyoid, and genohyoid, and when these muscles are stronger, they'll help you achieve a couple things. First, it will help you elevate your hyoid bone upwards, which will over time make your jaw go from this to this. It doesn't
Okay, I
actually
need that for sure.
change anything about your bone structure. All it does is tighten your underjaw area. That's it. Now, a second thing that it will help you with is mewing more effectively. Whenever you bring your tongue upwards, you're automatically activating those muscles, so when they're weak and untrained, you'll have a difficult time keeping your tongue in the right position for longer than a few minutes. So training them will allow you to keep your tongue upwards much longer and more consistently, which will in turn allow you to improve your maxilla, mandible, cheekbones, etc. So this will be a very effective exercise. So here's how you're going to do supine chin raises properly. First, you'll again need to find something to lay on where your head can stick out and move freely. This can again be a bench or a bed, for example. Once you found something, you want to lay on it with your head sticking out, and you'll start by doing slow and complete neck curls. This is not meant to train the muscle itself, but to simply warm your entire neck area as a whole. Make sure you go all the way down and all the way up, and keep a good range of motion. So for this, you want to do about 10 to 20 reps and potentially do some neck stretches just to make sure everything is well warmed up around that area. Now, once you're completely warmed up, the following step is to actually train the movement, which you'll do by again laying on your back with your head sticking out, and what you'll do instead of curling your neck up is tuck your chin and try to create as many double chins as you can. The goal here is not to squeeze your neck, but to squeeze your suprahyoid muscles, and while you're doing this, it's also important to keep proper tongue posture, otherwise called mewing. This will allow you to activate your suprahyoids more effectively and therefore also train them more effectively. Then on the way back, you'll need to focus on pulling your chin backwards as much as you can, which will create a big stretch in your suprahyoid muscles, and of course make sure you still keep your tongue in the right position. Then you'll simply repeat this movement until you're done with your set. So that is in essence how you perform supine chin raises properly. Make sure that during the movement you create as many double chins as
Pause it
possible.
and comment because easier. This is insane. What are your thoughts on that, bro? Dude, I don't know, like... think it's probably a W method. Never thought about it.
Pull your chin backwards to create a stretch and keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth during the whole movement. Then in terms of how often you should be doing this, the answer will depend on how trained your hyoid muscles are. Obviously, if you've never trained your hyoid muscles before, you'll need to train them with less frequency and intensity than if you've been training them for a few months. So the ideal frequency as you're starting out will be to train this 2 times a week and do 2 sets of 10.
Never thought about it either. I didn't know there was a difference in curl-ups. Yeah. Learning new stuff.
Reps each time. And the more advanced you become, the more sets and reps you'll do. Then when it comes to the day you'll train it, this should be done ideally after training neck, but if not that, you'll want to train this after a back day or a chest day. So that is everything you should know. Now the following method we can implement is called thumb pulling. So this is one which is very controversial in space. A lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. I don't think I've seen that many people hate on and fight for a method simultaneously. So I guess props to Oscar for being able to polarize people so much. Now, I personally think it's a very good method and I'm going to show you exactly why. So what thumb pulling is meant for is relaxing the sutures of your skull. Whenever you're mewing, you're placing pressure on the palatine suture, the one that goes through the middle of your palate. Now, the issue is that your sutures become less and less malleable as you age, meaning that it gets harder and harder to change your bone structure as you get older. Now, something we can do to remedy this is to consistently place pressure on our palate to relax those sutures and allow them to still grow new bone mass and expand your palate. Now, a lot of people disagree with this method, but I want you to think about it like this. Everyone agrees on the fact that a palate expander works because it's promoted by the medical system, and it feels like anytime science promotes something, people automatically think it's a valid thing. So everyone agrees that palate expanders work. Now, a palate expander is something that you place in your mouth and activate once or twice a day for about 1 to 2 minutes each time, and this will create outward pressure on your palate with a force of about 0.5 to 1 newtons each activation. That is for a palate expander. Now, compare this with thumb pulling. With tumbling, you place outward pressure on your palate once or twice a day for about 1 to 2 minutes each time with a force of about 40 to 60 newtons, which is about 40 to 120 times more force than a palate expander. So basically, any person that believes a palate expander works but tumbling doesn't work is a moron.
Let's see
So yes,
this.
tumbling works, and I'm going to show you exactly how I think you should do it. Oscar Patel still knows this a lot better than me when it comes to this specifically, but this is how I understand it. So first you'll need to start by standing against the wall. So place your whole body and feet against it. Then what you'll do is place one foot in front of the other and place the second one next to it. You want to ensure that you have about a foot's distance between the wall and both of your feet. Then thirdly, what you'll do is pull your chin backwards and try to create as many double chins as possible. Doing this combined with placing yourself against the wall will ensure that when you tumble, you create as much pressure on both sides of your mouth. It will ensure that you don't create imbalanced pressure on each side of your palate. Now, once you're in the right position, what you'll do is place both of your thumbs in the middle of your palate and pull outwards and upwards for about 10 to 15 seconds. You'll then rest for 10 seconds and repeat it 5 to 6 times. So that
Bro,
is the
I'm
way
not
I
gonna lie. You're not catching me doing this, bro.
understand tumbling. Now, when it comes to the frequency at which you'll do it, this is something you want to do ideally 2 times a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. This will ensure that you're consistently relaxing your sutures and making sure your myofunctional habits work more effectively. So that is everything you need to know in terms of tumbling. Place yourself against the wall, pull your chin backwards, place your thumbs in the middle of your palate, pull against it for about 10 to 15 seconds, then rest 10 seconds and do it twice a day for about 5 to 6 sets each time. Now, the following method you can use is an exercise called eye corner pulling. This is something which is meant to train the muscles around your eyes and over time teach those muscles to hold your eyes in a sharper and more positively tilted position. It will essentially allow you to achieve more hunter-like
Brutal cantle tilt.
eyes over time. So here's how you can do it. First, you'll place your index fingers on the corner of each of your
I think
eyes,
that's the
specifically
right term.
on your orbital bone. So whenever you place your fingers around that area, you should feel a little bump in your bone mass, which is exactly where you should place your fingers. Then what you'll do is pull your skin upwards by about 0.5 to 1 centimeters to ensure that they are in the right position. Then after this, you'll have two options. Either you try to close your eyes with your fingers serving as resistance and you do it in multiple reps, so for about 15 to 20 reps, or you simply close your eyes as an isometric hold where you simply hold the position for about 30 seconds. So which one you choose will just depend on which one you prefer. I typically like to do an isometric hold, but both work equally as well. In any case, you should be careful to not go too intensely on this because the skin around your eyes is very thin and this is a sensitive area, so just be careful to not go too hard on this. So this is something you can do every single day for about 3 to 4 sets, and each set will either be a 30-second hold or 15 to 20 reps. So that is in essence how you can do eye corner pulling properly. Place each index finger on the orbital bone next to each of
Look
your
me in
eyes.
my hantavirus eyes. Holy Pauline Max.
Pull your skin upwards by about 0.5 to 1 centimeters. Try to close your eyes against that resistance
Guys, do
and
you
do
think
it
this method will give you hantavirus eyes? Look me in my hantavirus eyes when I say this. Will this method give you hantavirus eyes? Let me know, chat.
at the ideal frequency and volume. So that is all you need to know when it comes to eye corner pulling. Then sixth, again, something that everyone should implement without any exception, is recorrecting their chewing habits. If you didn't know, the way you chew on food is heavily responsible for developing your skull and especially your jaw properly. It will ensure that your masseters become bigger, your skull becomes wider, and it will help in the process of growing your skull forwardly. So learning to chew on your food properly will help you develop your skull in a few ways. Now, the way you'll chew properly is by following a few steps. Firstly, you'll need to choose the right foods to chew on. Certain foods are harder and tougher to chew on and therefore cause more stress on your chewing muscles and skull, which will stimulate them to grow more. Some of these include steak, carrots, bread, nuts, and other similar things. Now, once you have this, here's how you're going to chew. First, anytime you take a bite, you'll need to chew on it 20 to 30 times before swallowing it.
I don't like chewing because it hurts real, bro.
To ensure that every bit of food is completely liquefied in your mouth. Then while you're doing this, you need to consciously focus on squeezing your masseters to engage them more and as a result develop them slowly over time. I would suggest consciously doing this with every single meal you have at first to really relearn the habit, and to help you fill your masseters, you can always touch them with your thumbs or
I think I heard Dylan say like training masseters is cope, but I'm not sure about that.
index fingers to create a better mind-muscle connection. Now, the final technique that I believe to be effective is lymphatic drainage. What it is meant for is activating your lymphatic flow and reducing the amount of fluids you hold in your face. So essentially, you have to understand that inside your body, you have a system called your lymphatic system, which is responsible for removing fluids and toxins from your body, including your face. The problem is that a lot of people's lymphatic system is a little sluggish or doesn't work properly because of the way they live, the way they sleep, their activity levels, and the general quality of their lifestyle. What this then leads to is a lymphatic system that's not able to remove fluids very effectively, and that causes your face and body to look more bloated overall. So in order to activate that system, obviously your diet and lifestyle will be the most important things, but something we can add in to help activate that system is a lymphatic drainage massage. So here's exactly how you're gonna do it. First, you'll start by washing your face and hands and making sure that they are wet. This will make your face smoother and allow for better movement. Once you've done that, you want to massage the following areas. You'll start by going from your ears to your neck 5 to 10 times, then from underneath your chin alongside your jaw to your ears 5 to 10 times, then you will go from your nose to your ears and repeat it 5 to 10 times again, then you'll go underneath your eyes back and forth and repeat it 5 to 10 times again if you want to depuff your eyes, then you will go from your forehead to your ears and again repeat it 5 to 10 times, and to finish off you want to do a final neck massage as you did in the beginning, again repeat it 5 to 10 times. So that is how you can do a lymphatic drainage massage on your face. This is something that should take you about 2 minutes and you'll do it either once a day or 2 to 3 times a week. This will help you both immediately and over the long run, so just find a rhythm that works for you. So these were 7 methods and techniques that actually work. Neck curls, mewing, supine chin raises, thumb pulling, eye corner pulling, correct chewing, and lymphatic drainage. Of course, there's going to be a lot of different methods beyond that, which are fundamental, like proper oral care, proper swallowing, nose breathing, etc. But I wanted to focus on things that are still important, but go a little beyond the basic stuff that we know. So thank you for watching. Remember, you
I
can
think it
join.
was a W video for the most part. Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you want to try these methods, chat, go for it. No harm in doing so. And yeah, W late night stream. Gonna run a Minecraft stream with Cody tomorrow, so we'll run that up. And yeah, peace guys.